Hello and welcome back to the Reapers. So we're cracking on with our Dogfight BFM maneuvers. This is videos 2 out of 3. Today we're covering the offensive low yo-yo, the offensive high yo-yo, the defensive spiral, the displacement lag roll, and the unloaded extension. So credits first of all, the pictures come from generic internet sites. They seem to be shared over various internet sites. And the terminology I've done myself because we like to put our own spin. For the 3 or so years that we've been fighting, we disagree with some of the official stuff, and we like to have our own spin on it. That's what I'm trying to say. So let's get cracking. First of all, offensive low yo-yo. Who does it? The aggressor does it. The condition when the aggressor is in a lag pursuit. So the situation is the aggressor is chasing the defender. We're in a lag pursuit and we can't gain on the defender. We need a way of gaining on the defender and getting ourselves in phase for a gunshot and getting us in range. So say we're 3,000 feet at the moment, we want to get down to 1,000 feet or so, then this is what we're going to do. So what we actually do is the aggressor dives slightly while turning, tightens the turn, which is allowed by potential into kinetic energy transfer, because obviously we're losing altitude, we're turning that into speed, into energy gain. Excuse me, so that puts us out of turn of the fight. Sorry, that puts us out of phase of the turn, of the defender's turn. And there you can see what we've done. This is allowing us the energy to load the jet up further, and it's allowing us to, if you like, cut the corner. That's the way I like to think about it. It's going to allow us to turn tighter because of the extra energy boost and basically catch up with him, restore ourselves back in phase with him. So then once we are closer to the defender, we roll in terms of elevation back in phase with the defender's turn, and we're going to be all of a sudden 2,000 feet closer. Simple as that. And the effect is, just to complete this, energy is increased temporarily, allowing the aggressor to turn tighter, and when AG restores to the lateral plane, both planes are closer together. Right, so let's go and have a look at that. Okay, I'm the defender, Joker is the attacker. He's about 90 degrees or about 70 degrees out of phase. He's stuck in lag pursuit at the moment. So what he's going to do is going to dive down to cut the corner and try and catch up with me. So I am pretty much static now.
Okay.
Diving down. Cutting the corner. Using gravity. Popping back up to phase. And that's a kill. Lovely job. Knock it off. Okay, offensive low yo-yo. From memory, I think Joker did this really well. So, the position is we are in a chase, 3,000 feet between us. He's about 90 degrees, 80 degrees out of phase with me at the moment. He's struggling to get lead, to get the missile, or to get the guns. He's got to close that up, or he's just out of guns range at the moment, basically. And let's send that on its way. So he's going to perform the low yo-yo. He's going to roll right, dip the nose down, unleash that potential energy into turn, and is going to be able to basically cut the corner. That's the way I like to think about it. And he gets the energy to cut that corner out of trading his potential energy for kinetic energy by diving. So there we've got the wing dip. Look at the altitude go down. Look at the speed increase, despite the fact that his turn rate has gone up. His turn rate's got all the way up to 22 degrees per second, and I'm stuck at my miserable 12 degrees per second. And he's going to pop up back onto the plane of turn. Like so. He's going to retrade that energy, going to gain that potential energy again, and he's having to pull 9G here at this point to manage it, but that's just something you've got to do. You know, he's gained all that. He's gained all that kinetic energy, and he's got a bit of an overspeed on the go. But basically, that's now a guns kill at 600 feet away. So it's almost like magic. You kind of trade that energy in, and it allows you to close up so quickly. I mean, this was again a bit artificial. I'm not stressing my jet to the maximum here. I'm not doing a consistent 7G turn, but this is just an example to show how it can be done, and it does work obviously in a max G turn as well. So that's probably what we would consider the most useful out of all of the BFM maneuvers if you are a aggressor and you want to get closer in phase or just closer in terms of distance to your target to get your guns on cue. Offensive high yo-yo. So if you like, it's kind of the opposite to the low yo-yo, but the mechanics work differently. So who does it? The aggressor. The condition is that the aggressor is fast and in a lead pursuit. Now, personally, I found that this kind of works in lag pursuit, and we'll show in a minute it working in lag lag pursuit with equal energy, but the official version is that it is when you have overspeed on the hostile. So the action, the AG loosens the roll and pulls up to increase altitude. So because of that, we're obviously trading our kinetic energy, we're trading our airspeed, which goes down, but for what we lose in the airspeed and the kinetic energy, we gain in the ability to turn. And so we can turn all of a sudden and cut the corner. We're covering half as much distance as this guy here. And then when we dive back down, we can dive down closer, much closer in phase, and only a few hundred feet, rather than the several thousand feet, back onto 6. And the effect of written is, despite a temporary lack of airspeed due to the much tighter turn, the aggressor is now closer to the defender and at more suitable speed. Again, because officially we're coming in from a higher speed for an offensive yo-yo. Also, and this also is good for preventing a turning overshoot as well. So we're going to show an example of that and show that we can actually do it from a lag pursuit as well, but it's primarily for a high aggressor energy lead pursuit. Okay, I'm in turn fight now. I'm the defender. Joker is about 90 degrees out of phase behind me, and he's going to want to close up on me and cut the corner. So when you're ready, offensive high yo-yo and drop back down on me in a closer phase.
That's put me 800 feet on you, sir.
Ah, nice. Yep, okay. So, you happy with that?
Yep, and that's a kill.
Well done. Done. Okay, offensive high yo-yo. So the situation is Joker is chasing us. He's the aggressor. We're about 70, 80 degrees out of phase. Nearly 3,000 feet between us. We're too far away and I'm too high energy because we're just pretending I am, sorry. So that he can't get a lead and he can't shoot at us. So he is going to do his offensive high yo-yo. What he's going to do is he's going to increase in altitude, essentially turn into the middle of the turn. And for what he loses in mechanical or kinetic energy and speed, he gains more in the long run by cutting the corner, being able to turn tighter, cutting the corner and lessening the distance he has to travel. And when he comes back down, he trades his potential energy back into kinetic. He's going to fall right on our tail. So a lovely maneuver. Basically just the opposite to the offensive low yo-yo. So let's set that going. So he's frustrated at the moment. He can't catch up. Or in fact, he's getting left behind. I know I'm only doing 4G, but it just makes it easier to show the move like this. In reality, we'll probably be doing a 7G or a 6G. So it's falling behind. We'll do it at some point. There we go. So we're unloading some of that roll. We're up. And again, you may have to pull high G to perform this maneuver. And he's yo-yoed over. You see he's lost a lot of speed doing that. He went under 300 knots, and that's just what has to be done. And in he goes now. I did a little jig, a little roll there. I don't think that's needed. I think that was just an adjustment because he was slightly off phase. 2,000 feet, and he's going to have to load that jet right up now. So he's loading it up, loaded the alpha up, loaded the G up, and it's fell on my back there. And so it's gone from 3,000 feet to 8,000 feet, a perfect gun solution, and, 10 degrees, 5 degrees within phase of me. So that's perfect. So if we were doing a full 7G turn, obviously it wouldn't have that much effect, but that shows a good example of how it works. Right, so defensive spiral. This is a pretty cool one. Obviously, this has to be done at high altitude. Well, when I say high altitude, at least several thousand feet, at least kind of 5,000 feet, I'd say. Who does it? The aggressor and the defender. Now, technically, the defender initiates it and maintains it, and the aggressor is forced to go with it, basically, if he wants to carry on in the dogfight. So the condition is the aggressor is on the defender's 6, and the defender has got himself where he's low energy, low speed, so he's down to 200 knots. And as the official saying is, out of energy, out of ideas. There's nothing else he can do because he's got no kinetic energy in the bird. What he does, however, have is potential energy in the bag. He has his MGH, his altitude. So the action is the defender pulls into a diving helical spiral. So basically he keeps turning as he is, but he's gonna rudder his nose right or tighten the roll right so that he's now going 15, 20, 25 degrees down. And he's going to start trading in potential energy for kinetic energy. He's going to increase his speed, and this allows him to unload the jet as well because we can get speed. We can be sure that we can keep our defender sufficiently out of phase with the temporary increase in our kinetic energy. So using gravity for the turning energies, that's where it's coming from. His aim is to keep the aggressor outside of a rotational shooting phase. So that just means keep the aggressor out of phase. Keep him, you know, plus 50, plus 60 degrees out of phase if you can, up to 180 degrees. The effect is the aggressor cannot acquire a shooting solution. He just has to follow him down. There's not really much he can do apart from follow him down, because he can only get the same amount of turning energy from the dive as well. And the situation can be reversed, yes, I'm aware I can't spell, depending who reaches the ground first. So the key to this maneuver is not the spiral. The spiral just allows you to keep him from shooting us. The key to this move is when we hit the ground, we're actually going to neutralize the enemy because we hit the ground at different times based on our current rotational phase. So rather than me kind of explain how to do that, what I'll do is I'll just show you in action and then explain it afterwards. I'm the defender, Joker is the aggressor. He's got onto my 6. We're going to have a fake dogfight up here. I'm going to deliberately run myself out of energy and out of ideas. My only thing left to do is to get myself in a defensive spiral where I'm going to use gravity to keep us separated, keep us out of phase so we can't get a gun solution on me until we basically hit the ground and are forced to split. So I'm going to go burners on in right, pull 3, 2, 1 now. I'm going to load up the alpha so that I run out of energy. Okay, oh, I'm all out of energy, I can't maneuver. So I'm going to put myself in my downward spiral now. Use gravity to help build up the energy, even at the same stick load. And I'm keeping him out of phase so he can't get the shot on. Altitude. We've just got to watch for the ground now. The ground is going to force us to split. $1,700, 1,000. And I'm out of here. Okay, so the defensive spiral. So we're in an artificial dogfight at the moment. We're about 150 degrees out of phase, 120 degrees out of phase. He's behind me. So I've got no hope of surviving this dogfight, and I've bled myself out of energy. I'm down to 265 knots. Don't worry about Joker too much. He's just trying to follow me for this example, but he is representing the threat. So I've loaded up too much alpha, and I'm out of energy, I'm out of ideas. So what I'm going to do now is not put the nose down 15 degrees, or maybe more than that. We're going to use gravity, and we can afford to unload. Because we've got the gravity, we can afford to unload the plane slightly here. So we're going to unload the alpha, increase the speed up to 350 or maybe even 400, we'll see. And what this is allowing me to do is unleash potential energy, put it into kinetic energy, and it's essentially allows me to keep Joker out of phase. It doesn't allow him to get a solution. Look at him struggle, just trying to keep a lag pursuit on the go here. And he's burnt himself, in this case, all the way down to stall speed. Whereas I am, I've unloaded down to 24 degrees alpha, and my speed is still increasing. Joker's getting his axe back together now. It's about 180 degrees out of phase now. So it's a bit of a mistake from Joker for going so slow, but we're not really worried about his bird too much. It's my bird that we're really looking at the moment. So for that whole spiral, I'm not trying to get away in that spiral. I'm just trying to neutralise the hostile. Whatever we do, he can't cut in front of me there. He can't really get a lead pursuit on me as such. Can't get a weapons fix. And then we come to the end of the manoeuvre, and what happens is, because we reach the ground, we run out of altitude and hit the ground at different times because we are out of phase here. It means that I've got a chance of getting away. I've got a chance of unloading my plane and getting away. And because he's out of phase, he doesn't have that chance to catch up. I can't really explain it any better than that, so we're just going to have to watch. So we're more or less 180 degrees out of phase. I hit the ground. I'm burners on. I unload the aircraft completely. And that's me in such a fast jet accelerating up to 500 knots. And look how we convert 180 degrees of dogfight into 2 miles. And there's nothing Joker could have done about that. He has to abide by the same rules as me, and that's the end of it. He's out of sidewinder range, he's out of gun range, unless he had a medium range missile. There's nothing he can do at the moment. So we've got rid of him by using our defensive spiral. Displacement lag roll. This is one of my favourites, especially when you get it right. Very satisfying. Who does it? The aggressor does it. The condition is that the aggressor is in lead pursuit and closing on the defender fast with a possible overshoot about to happen. So this is the defender here. He's in his turn. We are closing up on him on a lead pursuit and we're closing fast. And usually displacement lag roll is only something we do when we've got an aggressive overshoot of 150 knots or something. Not if you're just a few knots faster. In that case, you could just deflect the elevation downwards to get back into lag pursuit. And this is just a method, a quick aggressive method, is getting us from lead pursuit into lag pursuit. The action, the AG rolls up and away from the turn, and when the AG's lift vector is aligned with the DE, then pulling aft and realigning with the turn. So what we're going to do is we are a full 360 degree roll. And once we've completed our roll, backstick, and just the way the mechanics works, I don't really understand, we're going to resume the fight several hundred feet behind and in a lag pursuit. So it's a way of burning off that speed without losing the pursuit. The effect is converts lead to lag pursuit and prevents overshoot and increases the distance between planes. So that's it. We'll go and give it a shot now. Right. I'm going to pull lead now on purpose. Catch up. So I'm closing. I'm about to overshoot. So I'm going to roll out into lag, recommit, and now back in lag.
Yeah, that's basically what that is.
It's pretty good. Do you want to have a go just out of interest?
Yeah, I can do.
Right, I'm just going to continue the turn. I'm going to get to 6G.
Alright, so I'm now pulling major lead out to overshoot. And back into half-mile lag. The only issue with that, you bleed a lot of speed in that.
Yeah, you do. I don't think it's possible to do that. I think you'd only do that if you're really overspeeding.
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, happy with that?
Yeah.
Okay, displacement lag roll. So I'm behind, Joker is defending. We've currently got him a pure pursuit. I'm probably going to pull lead here to lead pursuit. So let's see that ADL increase. Yep, you can see that I'm moving forward of his plane now, and that means we're going to close up in the lead pursuit. So I'm down to 1400 feet, putting more lead in there, 1200 feet, 1100 feet, 1000 feet. And the problem is I'm going to overshoot now, so I'm in a world of pain. I'm down to 800 feet. I've got bucket loads of lead pursuit here. So what we're going to do is I need to convert this to lag as quickly and aggressively as I can, and just moving down in deflection isn't going to be quick enough. So I'm going to do a full left-hand roll out of phase and then back into a lag phase. So watch this. If I do it, so I'm 700 feet and panicking, a full roll left and then back into lag. We're going to have to do a lot of pull here to get that back. But essentially, I'm back in lag now. I'm 3,000 feet back. What we found is that, unless you're really good at doing that roll, which we're, well, not, it dumps you back a good couple of thousand feet. So you'd only do it if you were really closing. I wasn't closing particularly fast there, but if he was doing 300 knots, I was doing 500 knots during the closure, and then we would do it. And that would probably take this down to about 1,000 offset rather than about 2,000. And then that's me, well, back in lag there, basically, rejoining the fight. Okay, let's see Joker's going, see if he does it any better. Joker's following me now. Lag to lead. Big closure rate. 2,000 feet. 1,000 feet. So this is more like the closure rate. I guess you'd use it, although it was a bit... oh, hang on. Did he complete a roll? Let's just have a look at that again. I think he might have cocked that up. Let's just have a slow that down. So rolls over... he just... oh! No, that's not how you do it. Ah, right. So I think Joke a bit misunderstood that. What you're going to do is a 3 full 60 degree of roll, not a reverse roll. You can see he reverses here. 90 degrees right, then 90 degrees left, and that's what's put him way out of whack there. Obviously, I couldn't see him doing this, so I didn't know. And that's put him 5,000 feet behind. And let's just go back and look at my example again. Okay, 1,700. Let's just speed up a little. Now watch here, there's no roll reversal, it's just a full 360 of roll here, and just the off, because that puts us out of phase slightly, that does enough. So we don't want to do the roll reversal. Full roll like that, back on the aft stick, load the jet back up, and then you're back in phase that way. So, okay. That's all we've got to show on that one. Finally for today, the unloaded extension. So we've talked a lot about the position of the aggressor and the defender in a dogfight, how to defend, how to attack, how to maintain a pursuit. What we haven't really talked about is how to, maybe with apart from the defensive spiral, how to break a pursuit. And it's the unloaded extension. That is just a fancy word for running away. The key word is unloaded. You are unloading your jet. So who does it? The defender, obviously. Well, maybe not obviously, but the defender, the guy who considers himself in trouble. Technically, I suppose an aggressor could do this as well, but it would be much easier for an aggressor to do because he's obviously aggressing. He can basically just turn away from the defender and run. Much harder for a defender. The condition is that the defender is uncomfortable with the dogfight. Well, to be honest, any defender is uncomfortable with the dogfight. If a defender wants to resume the fight, then if a defender wants to carry on the fight, then he's going to aim for the overshoot to get the aggressor in front of him. If he just wants out of the fight, maybe your jet isn't as good, maybe you've got heavier stores, whatever, you want out of the fight, then we're going to look for unloaded extension, or maybe unloaded extension in combination with forcing an overshoot. The action is simply we straighten the aircraft, full power and 10 to 15 degrees of descent. I mean, the descent will really differ at your whatever your altitude is, but I found 15 about the best optimal. Diving deeper than that doesn't really increase your acceleration rate that much. We're going to accelerate until max speed or near max speed. The timing is critical, however. You can't just do it when you're being chased. It won't work. The hostile will just chase you and shoot you down. The defender must wait until the aggressor is either low energy and or at an opportune aspect. So the best way to catch him is force him into a maneuver where he is low energy and or he is turned away from us, ideally 180 degrees away from us. It's unlikely to get him that far, but as far away as we can. Then we just unload the jet in terms of our angle of attack, our alpha, and correspondingly our drag, and we just zoom away. And if low level, this key is to ideally tie this with terrain masking. And if we are, for instance, I'm gonna do this in a vegan, we might want to jettison our stores as well. We've got bombs, get rid of those bombs. That's our only chance, our only way of escaping. So the effect of the move is we're unloading the angle of turn, the angle of attack, and the drag, and it allows us to accelerate optimally much faster than the hostile can to escape. While we're accelerating, the hostile still has to complete his turn, locate us visually, and then accelerate, by which time we are, if we've done it right, out of sidewinder range and out of gun range. Now, we're probably not going to get out of medium range missile range. I've tried this lots, even in a fast F-15, and I can't get away from a flanker or something in terms of medium range missile. So that's about 4 miles on the rear. But you can get out pretty much out of ACM at least. So let's go and give it a shot. Right, so I am in a Viggen, Joker is in a Tomcat. We're going to do an artificial overshoot. And at an opportune moment, after we've merged, then I'm going to run away. So when you want, Joker, pass and go into initiate a fake scissors. Let me know when you're passing so I see you.
Copy, I'm about to pass on your right side.
Roger.
And passing.
Roger. Chasing him. I'm taking this opportunity to get the hell out of here. Unload. 15 degrees down. See you later, sucker. He can't catch up. He can't catch up. Woo. Oh, something crashed. Okay, so I'm just about to cause the aggressor to overshoot. High G barrel roll, whatever. I've done something to cause him to overshoot. Past he goes. He's going to immediately high G turn to try and bleed off speed. So I'm going to fake going into scissors here. So I'm turning into him. He reverses. So we're going to do our crossover. Now he's completely fooled that we're going into scissors at this point. And so he's looking to reverse. And if anything, he's reversed pretty early here. So he's got a massive advantage really at this point. Usually he would be turning tighter away. And then so at this point we're going to unload our planes. Let's just scoot back up there. So the peak of our turn, we're about 4G. And 14 degrees angle of attack, so that's not very aggressive. I'm trying to keep my speed up. I'm full power, Whoops, I just realised that is tucked away. So you can see we've got full burn on now. And already I'm up to 400 knots. I'm going to level out. I'm unloading the G. I'm unloading the Alpha. And Joker's now got to turn 180 degrees essentially to get on me. And we're widening that gap now. So everything's unloaded now. 15 degrees or 10 degrees of descent. I can't see it written anywhere, but roughly 450 knots. There's very little Joker to do to get energy in his bird to chase now. On 0G, 1G, but 0 essentially. 500 knots. And Joker's, he's just completed his scissors turn back, and he's trying to work out where the hell I am, and here I am. So he's going to turn into me now. Where's his pound? It doesn't tell you his state, but I'm presuming he's on full burn. And I'm already at 600 knots, 1.3 miles. He's finally starting to increase his speed now, 300 knots and so on. And that's it. I think it crashes there. So even, let me just zoom back before it crashes. So even before it crashes there, I'm at 1.5 miles, 640 knots. He's just getting speed back in the bird now after he's completed his turn and located me. And so we're almost already out of Sidewinder range. Now we're never going to get out of medium range missile range, AMRAAMs and R27 and whatnot, unless there is some terrain to hide behind. But we can get out of the Dogfight, out of short range missiles, and out of gun range by doing that. So that's how we're going to want to do the exit. Okay, that's the end. That's the end of vid 2. Please go and try some moves out on someone in a public server or something. I hope that helps. See you later.